I've been rewatching Drawn Together, and I think that this show is very good at owning what it is and knowing what it wants to be. And I wish more TV shows did that. I wish that there were more like risks taken in that area of cinema or TV, music, anything. I love when something is very strong-willed in what it's trying to do in any piece of art or media or anything. And Drawn Together is such a lovely show because of how it's almost like trying to see how many people it can piss off. It's trying to be gross and crude and really out there. I think I think honestly, because it has that front of that, because you kind of assume it's going to be this raunchy, just unapologetic type of show, there are actually like very wonderful, subtle moments that are actually like not even moments of learning, but out of nowhere, sometimes the show will make you think or be like oddly sentimental in some ways, which is so funny. Like as far as like it's so fucked up and gnarly, and then it still will try to. It was very much almost trying to be its own thing, while South Park was doing something very similar at the time. And I know South Park is like the show that everyone thinks about in that aspect, but it almost felt like they took a lesson from their book in that way of like, oh, as raunchy as we can be and as ridiculous as it can be, we could still throw in a lesson or throw in some sort of something that makes the audience think. So that's what I think is hilarious about it, is that it just randomly will have an insane I'm just gonna ignore my automatic spray thing going off there. It's that totally fucking made me lose my train of thought. God damn it. Yeah, there's no reason you can't throw those moments in, despite something being so it's so heavy-handed. How literally like the controversial is the only like word to use for this show. It was almost like it was trying to be insanely controversial and compete with like Chappelle's Show and South Park and all those other Comedy Central shows that were doing that at the time. There were a lot of different types of, once people realized they could start doing that in television, once the once the envelope was pushed a little bit with television, people went really nuts with it. It used to be super clean and super family friendly, and that was it. And now it's and obviously at some point it changed. So it was interesting to be a part of that time when I was literally just a kid in middle school or whatever, like going into middle school when a lot of this was happening, and it was pretty hilarious to see that. It's no wonder why a lot of people in my age group are just have a very gnarly sense of humor and a pretty crazy attitude towards life sometimes, because we grew up with a lot of shit like this. But I think more shows should be like this, because I'd rather see something that really knows what it wants to be and knows what it is and wears on its sleeve in more ways than not. I'd rather see that than anything else that's basically a watered down version of something that we've already seen. Like do something ballsy. I think the show is just very ballsy. Even if it is kind of will make your eyes roll. Like by today's standards, it's almost like trying to be. It's basically like the I'm 14 is this deep. Like not deep. I'm 14. I'm edgy and fucking angsty. It's like feels like the show is written by very immature teenagers in a lot of ways too. But the show does have a lot of smart humor as well. It's just got a lot of everything when it comes to different forms of comedy and different it's very like ADHD, and that it's so like all over the place and quick and kind of like manic. But I kind of like it for that reason. I don't mind it. It reminds me of like old YouTube videos, or kind of just that crazy style of television that even Cartoon Network shows would sometimes gloss over. At Adult Swim, like, oh, everything's all fucking weird and out there and shit. So yeah, it's better. It's always better to take these risks, in my opinion, and take these risks and try to do something outlandish, even if it's you know, even if people hated it, it's one of those shows that 100% people would hate it for that over the top presentation that it gives. But I really like it for that reason. I just think it's kind of it's a lovely show. I could just turn my brain off and just laugh at some stupid bullshit and funny. Boy, I really love the voice actors in this show more than anything. The voice actors are so solid, and the writing is sometimes out of nowhere really fucking hilarious. And even if it's not, there's just something kind of enjoyable about it. And I think I enjoy it because it's reminiscent of that time and just kind of makes me feel nostalgic for how like I felt, you know, when you're a kid watching something like that. I feel like you were getting away with something, or that, you know, you can get in trouble for watching something like it. And I think it's kind of interesting to see that as an adult and see like what, like, really understand a lot of the jokes that I missed when I was younger. And yeah, just look at it through a different lens. When you watch something in different like parts of your life, you definitely have a completely different differently shaped opinion about it. So yeah, Drawn Together I think is a really interesting show though in a lot of ways, and is definitely worth having Paramount Plus for that, as well as all the other Comedy Central shows and all the other stuff on there. So if you want something that's kind of refreshing or different in that way, for better or worse, way different than what you'll see normally, Drawn Together is a solid pick for you.